angels willing to hold us in their arms. When our words of stone are ashes and we both passed on, let forever mean forever and carry on.
Good afternoon. Oh, wow. Feel so much better today. Been kind of tired. I didn't sleep the best last night. Got up early, and it's just going back up on Kratom. This happened the first time. The first night, I didn't sleep the best in the world. So I would imagine tonight I'll sleep like a baby, and will thereafter. So it is what it is. I'm telling you. Lots of news that I put out overnight. I've got something I'm going to speak on for just a little bit. I'm not going to speak very long because Gangsta Gigglez wants to have the mic for a while. So I'm going to kind of speak for a little bit, then I'll turn her mic on and she will take over, and when she's done I'll read you the headlines like I do every day, and then we'll continue on with the rest of the show. So, and of course at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time we will be joining up with Prepper Nurse 1. So real quick, going over the usual spiel that I've been doing every day. It's just something I'm gonna do every day. So we are still, actually I think we went up 2 cents, if I'm not mistaken, on our Amazon affiliate, because we're now at $22.29. I want to say yesterday we were at like $22.27, if I'm not mistaken. So I could be wrong on that, not sure. But I want to thank all of those that use our Amazon affiliate link to purchase things on Amazon, because it helps, and we highly, highly appreciate it. We don't have boatloads of money coming in, so every little bit helps. So, I'm glad that we were able to get the lights and stuff. We're still working on being able to get a green screen and a webcam. So that's what this stuff helps. And our Amazon affiliate link, for those that may want to know, is in the description of every video, or you can go to thewatchmannews.com. We've got search boxes there that you can search for whatever you would like. Click go, and it will take you to Amazon. Or we've even got some lists of different topics with different items in them, including recommended, which is all items that we have bought and use and recommend. That's why we have it there. We need to add to that. We do have some more stuff since I put this up, and I haven't really been up on updating that stuff on the website. I need to get busy and do that. Maybe that'll be a project this weekend. So anyway, for those that partake in that, thank you very much. And of course, the other way you can help us out is either by going to thewatchmannews.com/donate, or just going to the homepage at thewatchmannews.com, click on donate on the page, and it will redirect you to PayPal. And as I let everybody know so they aren't confused, it does come up as Transforming Disabilities, but it also says the purpose of the Watchman News donation. There's a rhyme and reason behind all of that. Once we get everything all set up with banking and everything else all set up, we are kind of a fragmented company. We're working under the umbrella of Transforming Disabilities. That would be the main company, and then there would be companies that would be doing business as, if you know what I'm saying. So that would include Disabled by Design, which is our merchandise business, and then the Watchman News, which isn't a business, but at the same time we want to have the capability, because at some time, hopefully in the near future, we'll be offering our own merchandise and stuff again soon. So, and possibly, very, very possibly, in the not so distant future, we might be offering things like Kratom. So, we'll see. We'll see how things go. Anyway, let me get done with that spiel. What I wanted to discuss was a little bit, again, I've got a very short piece to say, and a lot of this comes from the interaction that I had last night. Folks, here's the thing. We've all got, throughout our entire lives, we got important decisions to make. And it's really important on some of those decisions that we make the right ones. And I would implore people to look at history as a teacher. Make sure that you stand on the right side of history. Also look to the written word. Yes, look to the Bible. Make sure that you're standing on the right side. I think a lot of people get caught up in what is of the earth, okay? And when you get caught up with those things that are of the earth, it's pretty easy to get swayed the wrong direction. The Bible explains all of that. Another good bit of writing to look to is the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence. Many times on this show, I have read the Declaration of Independence. And the reason why is because that explains where we're at, where we need to go, and some of the obstacles to get there. All in that one document. That one document explains the interaction of last night. It's in there. It's in there. I try to lead by example, and I also try to model my thoughts and myself from those that are wiser than me. I don't try to be wiser than God. I don't try to be wiser than the founders of this country. I'm not in that competition. See, and that's kind of one of the places I think our society fails, is everybody's competing. There's no need to compete. Absolutely no need to compete. What happens sometimes when people have a mindset that they have to compete at everything is that they will go against what's good just because they want to win. So, again, make sure that you're standing on the right side of history. Unless you want to be an evil villain, whatever. That's up to you. That's your choice. Okay? My choice is not to be an evil villain. My choice is not to support the evil villains. My choice is to support God's intentions, and that was for us to be of a free mind and a free body. So, now, at the same time, that comes with consequences, okay? So, it's not one of those YOLO moments, right? It's, we have to make the right choices. It's not all about being free to do whatever you want, although we should be free to do whatever we want as long as we're not harming others, okay? But there's consequences, both good and bad. Unfortunately, in our society today, it's easier to get attention, right, with doing bad. Just the way it is. It's why we have a victim society. It's why we've got so much insanity that happens, because it's so easy to get that attention by doing something negative. What's really hard, is to get that level of attention by doing something positive. But I've always loved a challenge. Always loved a challenge. Anyway, like I said, I didn't have a whole lot. I just kind of wanted to say that because, again, that's one of those important decisions in our life that we need to make, is we need to understand where we want to be, not only and I'm going to say in the new history, because we will be written about one day, but to choose that wisely, very wisely. Never jump because you can better yourself in the short term if that's going to if that's going to cause you to fall in the long term. And I think that's a position that a lot of people are in today. It's why I've made a lot of the decisions that I have in my life, which makes my life a lot harder today. Now, I can't tell you that those decisions that I make that make my life harder today is going to make my life easier tomorrow, but I can tell you that those were good reasons. I can tell you that they are righteous reasons. And I do believe that some of them will indeed make my life a little easier in the future. So, we'll see. Only time will tell. But we need to get this stuff clear now in our heads. We need to get it clear. And again, not so that you can profess it to others. I don't need to know where you stand. Okay, that's a decision that you need to decide for yourself. But make sure you have that decision made. Okay, because if the balloon goes up, you already need to be that person that you think you are now. And the only reason why I term it that way is because you better be damn sure of your position. Okay? You better have fully thought it out. Because other people have. Other people have. You don't want to make that mistake. You don't want to wind up on the wrong side of history or the wrong side of the dirt because of making that mistake. So, it is what it is. Anyway, I am going to unleash the Kraken. And here you go. Here is the most beautiful woman in the world, Gangsta Gigglez.
Hello, everybody. These times that we're in, it just drives me insane. Because years ago, people used to just reach out and help each other, and it wasn't a big deal. You know, and they lifted each other up. And, you know, everybody was a community. You know, families got together and helped, you know, their elderly family members or people with disabilities or whatever. And now it's like a damn race. And if you don't make a bajillion dollars, you're a piece of shit. Do people not remember what the American dream was about? It was about working towards goals, having ideas and working towards it, and working up. And now, you know, it used to be you can get a college degree and you can go out and get a good job. And I like how they like to say that the economy's so great. Yeah. I have a college degree. And, you know, and I'm a dumbass, okay? I pretty much didn't do for myself till I was in my late 30s. I was too worried about helping my family and whatever. So then finally, you know, which I did go to college when I was still living with my family. But then finally I said, fuck it. And I left because I got told I didn't do anything anyway. Really? So I moved out. I don't care if I have to struggle the rest of my damn life. And I'm not on this earth to please everybody else. As long as God and I are okay, fuck the rest. If you want to help me, help me. But don't treat me like I'm just some useless piece of shit. And that's how it is with anybody anymore. Instead of people just helping and saying, here you know, and you know, like we do. People help us and we try to pay it forward when we can. It's not like we just want. We don't. I'd rather work. I'd rather go to a 9-to-5 job. But it's not going to work out like that. It's not going to work out like that. So I have to find a different path. But what gets me too is that they're okay. So yeah, you got a good paying job. Ain't never had to, never lost a job, never whatever. So you don't know what it's like to be at the bottom. So shut the fuck up. I'm not trying to act like I'm better than anybody. But just because you got a good paying job, how about having some humanity and some decency? I just don't get it. I don't get it. Like one time, of course, I really haven't had anything to do with my cousins or anything like that since I was like 19 years old. One of my cousins found me. We were cool at first. It was like, I think it was like 2007 if I remember right. We were cool at first, and then one day I guess he called me up. He was fucking drunk, and he said, "Oh, you just want to sit on your ass and get that check." Really? Because I can have so much freedom living on that little bit of money. I said from that point on, I was like, fuck you. But you'll sit over there and get yourself fucking drunk and won't look at your own fucking shit in the mirror, but I'm a piece of shit. Okay. And all I've ever tried to do is help people instead of fucking stepping on them. If you want to think you're better than everybody else, you just remember the people that you stepped on to get to your dreams. Because people like that are going to get theirs. People who have looked at me like I'm useless. My whole friggin' life, I was told I wasn't going to do this, that, or the other thing. So I had to figure out ways to how I was going to walk. Because at that age, I was already ready to do the 2 middle finger thing. Because I'm not just gonna sit back and let cerebral palsy be the thing that defines me. That's not what I'm here to do. I just don't get people that won't look at their own shit, but will sit around and make me feel like a piece of crap. And I ask my best friends all the time, How do you tolerate me? Because I'm thinking it's me. And they're like, are you kidding me? I'm like, okay. And they say things like, if it wasn't for you, I'd be even in a worse situation if I didn't have you to talk to. I'm like, okay. So I'm not a total piece of shit that just thinks about myself. And it just makes me think about the people in power nowadays. It's okay. They get what they want. They don't want to be told what to do. But they want to tell everybody else what to do. You can't collect fucking rainwater? Seriously? You can't build a tiny house on a piece of land? Okay. But we're so free, right? And then they abuse their power. They think because they have a high position or they have a badge that they can just do whatever the hell they want and get away with it. I just don't know how those kind of people can sleep at night doing that shit to people. They want to get people fighting with each other, so we're not looking at the shit that they're doing. And I just don't get it. And you know, I had back in 2002, I flipped my flag. I don't know how many times people have, called me out and said, "Oh, why you do that? You're disrespecting the country." No, I'm not. How can you tell me that this nation is not in distress? This nation has been in distress for years. I'm not. I just don't get it. I don't. As long as people are leaving each other alone, as long as you're not hurting nobody, what does it matter? As long as you're not hurting nobody. But supposedly, I'm the disabled one. My part of my brain is dead, and I still have more common sense than a lot of people. I don't want anybody to control me. I want people to be free. I want people to remember what this country was founded on. This drives me crazy. The forefathers are just rolling over in their graves. And it just gets me how the people in power, they get whatever the hell they want, but we're supposed to just do whatever the hell they say. Oh, use this and that and you'll be fine. Okay, yeah. Put you on these pills so they do more harm than good. How do these motherfuckers sleep at night? I mean, what something's got to give. But I don't know. I guess I'm done.
Jen, and I'm leaving you on for a little bit, okay? I'm leaving her turned on, which is what no good man would ever do, right? No, when I met Jen, I was completely amazed. I was just beyond amazed. It's hard to find another human being that is not even thinking about that rat race whatsoever. It's hard to find somebody that, well, not quite so hard to find somebody that doesn't want to be a victim, but there's a lot of people out there today that want to be victims. They don't want to be victims. They constantly want to compete. And I don't see any benefit from that. We can go through our life and we can spend our life worried about keeping up with the Joneses or being better than the Joneses. Or we can kick back and just do the best to enjoy what is, to the best of our ability. Now, and it's hard to do that today because of what's going on in the world, because of the amount of control that the government has and the amount of control that they have given to their enforcers. It's really hard just to kick back and enjoy what is. You would think you could maybe go out and buy you some land somewhere and build your house or move a camper or some kind of building, whatever the case may be. Put up a set of solar panels, windmills, however you choose to generate power. Be off-grid, be happy, be self-sufficient. You would think that something like that would be promoted, right? That would be a good thing, right? Because we want cleaner air, we want all this, but at least that's what they claim they want. But no, they'll bring the hammer down on you. And they'll do it in a hurry. And all you wanted to do was live a simple life. I'm seeing it become more and more illegal to live a simple life. Like literally. That I know that sounds bizarre, but that is literally what it's come to. They constantly want to be breathing down your neck. My favorites are things like how, constitutionally taxes for a citizen are voluntary, constitutionally. But don't pay your taxes and let me know how that works out for you, even though it's voluntary. Don't you love that? The other one I love is the census, which is unconstitutional as well. That of course too is voluntary. You should see what's happened to some of the people that's refused to give any information on the census. Voluntary. Expect the same thing to happen with vaccines and you name it. Gotta love their definition of voluntary. But anyway, I was absolutely amazed with the woman that I had met, and that's why. That's why. And she's just human like anybody else. But she's got a perspective on things that is really, really important to me. Again, not interested in that rat race. Not interested in who she can step on to get herself just a little higher. You know, in fact, when we talked about our starting our business, that's how we met, by the way. We met as business associates. And when we had talked about starting a business together, you know, she said from the beginning, I don't want to be rich. All I want to do is make enough money to survive. And maybe a little bit more. Yes.
Oh, I want to see New Hampshire a few more times before I die.
Yes, she does want to see New Hampshire again. But she doesn't. You know, I have to do things, and here lately I've been a little more able to, and so I have been doing things, and like I bought her a book, about a month or so ago, I guess. She didn't know anything about it. It's a book that I knew she would like to have, and so I didn't say anything to her. I just bought the book. And couldn't wait. I was so excited for that to come in and for her to get it. And just like the other day, I got an email from Amazon promoting another company called Woot. And in that email, they offered a 24-count box of Oreo candy bars, right, at $6.20. So, that came in today. It's sitting here on the desk, nice little display box and all that. I actually had the display box set up because I thought it was kind of funny. But, you know, she pretty much refuses to spend money on herself. So that's why now, when I've got a little bit extra to play with, I make sure to get her something because she deserves it. And she may not need it, but in my opinion, she does. She's an incredible woman. And when she gets upset like she got last night, it bothers me. One thing that really hurts her soul is to see people step down on. I think that probably stabs her in the heart more than anything else. Is seeing somebody get stepped down on. You know, here, if anything, I try to raise people up. I try to empower people. That's my intent, to empower people. Not only with knowledge, but in a mindset, in preparations, because it's important. We're a country of broken down people, and we have a government and its enforcement arm that's exploiting that, and it's got to stop. Again, like I said at the beginning, make sure you're on the right side of history. It's important. It's important, not only for you yourself, but your children, your children's children. I mean, look at different dictators in the past. How do you think their children fared? You know? Some people use the word karma. And while I believe in karma, I think it's a little more real than something kind of magical. At the same time, I think God plays a hand in karma. I'll bet if you go and you look back in history, if you could dig it up, I'll bet that some of the, say, Nazi SS lost children. I guarantee it. You know, the wars that we have going on in the Middle East, are we stopping terrorism? No, we're creating it. We're creating it. We're not stopping it. You tell me, if a foreign country came in our country, regardless of what their claims was, and they were killing our children, okay, and considering it collateral losses, acceptable losses, right? You telling me that that wouldn't anger the loved ones enough to fight back? We just got to flip the shoe on the other foot. That's all it is. Anyway, it's definitely some food for thought. She normally has what do you want to call it, a paper wrote up that she reads, normally because she writes, and that's normally what she reads, but today she just wanted to speak from the heart. And she's frustrated. She's mad. Not just because of the interaction last night. No, that's not it. But because of what's happening. You know, and I've got an example of that. Last night, before we went to bed, I was perusing through Facebook. Believe it or not, as I've said many times, I get a lot of news from Facebook. And as you know, we have recently started Kratom, our journey with Kratom. And as we've told you, we're going to take you on that journey with us. We're going to do what we can to help people realize what it can do and its benefits. And I was feeling pretty confident because 2016 there was a lot of trouble heading for Kratom's way. But it seemed like things have been kind of calmed down. The truth had come out. Now, mind you, I've been through this with vaping. In fact, I still have to try to explain to people that still pull out the crazy, stupid information that the FDA put out about how, vaping can cause popcorn lung. No. Not one case. Not one case of popcorn lung related to vaping. Not one. There's other claims that, there's formaldehyde. Well, if you look at the test study, yeah, there was definitely a trace of formaldehyde in that test. But when you look closer at the test, they burned a dry wick, okay, and it was a process of that combustion of that dry silica wick. Most of us don't use silica wicks. Most of us use 100% pure cotton, Japanese cotton. It was the burning of that silica wick that created a trace, or at least what was detected as a trace of formaldehyde. There is no formaldehyde in e-cigs, okay? But I still hear people talk about that. Still hear people talk about the batteries that have exploded. I wonder, in a comparison, where there's been more explosions, cell phones or electronic cigarettes. I do know the answer to that. Many, many, many more cell phones have went up than electronic cigarettes. And it's the same battery. It's the same battery. Well, different platform, but it's a lithium-ion battery. But anyway, the reason why I told you about that is because right before we went to bed last night, this popped up in my Facebook news feed. Just 30 seconds. Let me indulge you.
It's the hot new trend. Legal, all natural, used for pain and more. But this remedy comes with a risk.
We are aware of multiple deaths.
News 4 goes undercover.
I'm not gonna OD or anything.
The slow bureaucratic response to stop it.
What is it useful for? Nobody knows.
And the families still in shock.
This thing that was supposed to help her killed her.
Dose of Reality. Thursday at 10 on News 4. Watching out for you.
I think they sat down and they tried to figure out just how many lies they could fit in 30 seconds. And you even heard the one guy say, well, what is it useful for? Excuse me? What is it useful for? This is the misinformation. This is the stepping down on us. That's got myself and got Jen worked up. Because they will flat out lie. All to protect a certain class. And I have a huge issue with that when they're willing to do it at the barrel of a gun. Once again, I'll say, make sure you're on the right side of history. Because, you know what? What I want to put in my body, as long as it's not harming anybody else, my business. My business. So, apparently, the media is trying to stir up fear, which is how they control us when it comes to kratom. Just like they've been stirring the pot like you wouldn't believe when it comes to measles, of all things. It's ridiculous. They want to mandate putting poison in your body. Mandate it. But they don't want you to take something with little to no side effects that will actually help you. No, can't have that. Here, have some pharmaceuticals so that way you'll have kidney failure, liver failure. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Like I said, I ran across that last night. Crazy timing, huh? Just as we get started on it, and now they're building another media campaign against it.
Oh, but people become alcoholics and...
Well, that's fine, because that's sanctioned by them.
Yeah.
And it's part of that protected class.
Yeah.
That makes it okay. But don't smoke a joint.
Oh, yeah.
Don't dare smoke a joint.
I mean, if my mom would have been smoking a joint, I probably would have been born full term and not had cerebral palsy. But if you tell somebody that, oh my God,
you're wrong, you're wrong.
Satan.
Cue the reefer madness.
Oh, but we can go to the doctor and get 5 different meds, and they do more. Oh.
It's ridiculous, folks. And again, I'll say it again. we need to choose wisely and choose what side of history we want to be on. I've made my decision a long time ago. Anyway, let me read you some headlines here. Companies refuse work due to zip code of St. Louis's first container home. This thing looks pretty cool, and it's a shame, that they're battling this guy. So I'm not going to play the video, but the image that you saw a while ago was before it was finished at all. But that is it, painted with the windows in and whatnot. I think it looks pretty awesome myself. I think it looks pretty awesome. Okay. Hillary, revitalized by Mueller's obstruction theories, hypes roadmap to impeachment. We'll see where this goes, folks. I'm not holding my breath for the whole she's going to jail thing. Okay, that's what I would like to see. I would like to see it, but I'm not an idiot, and I'm not a fool. Again, remember, there is a protected class, and you and I ain't in it. Okay? You and I ain't in it, and what you and I want aren't part of it. Boy Scouts sealed perversion files name 7,800 plus suspected pedophiles, says a victim's lawyer. That is jaw-dropping. That is absolutely jaw-dropping. Makes you kind of wonder if this whole change with the Boy Scouts, and now I guess the Scouts of America, or whatever it is that they call themselves now, if this wasn't at least a fair part of the reason why they did that. U.S. Navy setting up guidelines for reporting UFO sightings. Oh. Enough is enough. Trump opposes aides testifying to Congress in post-Mueller probes. We need to kind of be done with this. And not because they may find something now. Folks, it's been over 2 years, right? They've done checked all the tags on his mattresses. He's good. Okay? Saudi Arabia beheads 37 people, mostly from Shia minority, puts body on display. Saudi Arabia. Right? Don't forget, the United States is supporting this country. We're giving them weapons. We're giving them money. Buying their oil. Want to be on the right side of history, folks. And that isn't just for the history books. It's also being on the right side for God as well. New Zealand Prime Minister says no known link between Sri Lanka bombings and Christchurch attack. So I've kind of heard that both ways. I don't know. None of us could really say for sure what is going on with it all. Or whether it's ISIS related, or ISIS took credit because, the depth of the tragedy. Who knows? Who knows? Mask off, ? U.S. ambassador to Russia says U.S. practices diplomacy with aircraft carriers. More of this beating the war drums and posturing. Kim arrives in Vladivostok, Russia for first ever summit with Putin. That's his armored train there. Trump's Iran decision could kill the OPEC Plus deal. Senior Sri Lankan officials withheld intel on terrorist attacks. What's that sound like to you? 9/11? I mean, I know that not nearly as people perished here, but I mean, think about that. Sri Lankan officials were aware of it. Were aware that it was going to happen. Does that not remind you of 9/11? Turkey to get first S-400s in July despite U.S. pressure. Russian arms trade official confirms. Critical success, 10-month trial of Russia's floating nuclear power plant reactor complete. Stop talking about it. Navy SEALs say they were warned against reporting chief for war crimes. Absolutely insane. Doctor suspended for 6 weeks after calling for rape of women. This happened in Australia. Mind-blowing, man. I mean, just mind-blowing. MSM designated inventor of hybrid warfare says U.S. has been waging it against Russia for ages. Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and UAE owe their existence to Iran, says Rouhani. Now, I don't know. Couldn't give you any insight into that at all. I just absolutely could not. I know there's a lot of bantering, and I know there's a lot of crazy talk coming from Iran and stuff, but and some of it I understand. Some of it I even understand to be legitimate. But I don't know about claims like this. But I do know that if there was another country that was stepping down on our necks tremendously, we would probably, say things like death to that country and yada, 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 right? Wait a minute. Didn't that happen once in our history and we started killing a bunch of people? But Iran's bad, right? Because they don't want their necks stepped on. Anyway, I'll never figure that out. Lift sanctions and apologize if you want to talk, Iran's Rouhani tells Washington. Fiery train derailment forces evacuations, hazmat response in Fort Worth. By the way, real quick, let me read this headline. Bayer bosses facing shareholder reckoning over Monsanto deal as cancer lawsuits mount. So I've been pronouncing the name of a company incorrectly for probably a couple months now, if not longer, and not intentionally. I've said, I don't know how many times, countless times, I have no idea how this is pronounced. Today, not once, but twice. Twice I saw companies or others say the company's name. I've been saying, well, I don't know if it's Hawaii or what it is exactly. It's Huawei. Huawei. That's how it's pronounced.
Tommy said.
Even I couldn't stand the smell. Chinese runner defies diarrhea attack to finish half marathon. That would suck. I would say so, Tommy. Of course, I have to give that disclaimer that I can't give medical advice. But I don't think that it would interact with anything. I really don't. I mean, as long as you're not on heroin or meth, right? And I say that jokingly, but the individuals that they've claimed deaths have come from and stuff, they had all kinds of crazy stuff in their system, but not prescription or prescription levels. So I don't think you would have any problems at all. I don't know what medications you're on, but this doesn't have any kind of kratom doesn't have an effects kind of like it doesn't raise your heart rate. It doesn't, you know what I mean? It doesn't have any kind of effects like that. I don't see why it would be an issue whatsoever. Yeah, I would stay on them. I would definitely stay on them, especially dependent on what they are. I don't know what type of medications you're on. But I would just your body, and pay attention to it. If you've got blood pressure issues, for instance, if you've got a way to monitor your blood pressure, if you're on blood pressure medication and you start taking kratom and your blood pressure bottoms out, I would say make one of two choices. Either dump the kratom or dump the blood pressure medication, because that is one thing, by the way, that has been claimed, that kratom helps his blood pressure. So, okay, that's good. Okay, that's fine. And we'll respond with, I'll go into more detail. I'll kind of take a peek into things and go into more details. But, I probably wouldn't be too concerned with it, to be honest. And then maybe if it's something that you decide that you want to try to remain on, then I would look a little deeper into it. There's a lot of people that claim that they've gotten off of a number of different medications because of taking kratom. They no longer needed the other medications. So, we'll see. I hope we're sending you a few days worth. So I'm hoping you should know immediately, within 2 hours after you take it for the first time. You should know what it's going to do for pain. So, but as long as you're not having any issues, take it all for the few days. Take it until it's out, because even the second day you really start benefiting from the pain relieving effects and stuff. But you will immediately, a couple hours after. I'm not saying you take the capsules and bam, your pain's gone. But a couple hours, you really start noticing a difference. So, let's see. Okay, UK spy agency calls Trump's wiretapping charges utterly ridiculous and nonsense. And that's mainly because they are kind of accused of being in on it. So, go figure. Trump warns Mexico against pulling guns on U.S. troops, sends forces to border. Let's see. U.S. must talk to Revolutionary Guards if it wants to enter Hormuz Strait, says Zarif. Bye-bye dollar, bye-bye gold. Russia fills vaults with another 600,000 ounces. Crazy. They just keep stocking it up and stocking it up. Russia simplifies getting citizenship for people in breakaway regions of eastern Ukraine. Japan extends apology and restitution to victims of forced sterilization law. Boeing withdraws 2019 financial forecast and pauses share buybacks amid mounting concerns over 737 MAX. Pakistan's Navy fires domestically made cruise missile in impressive firepower display. So they're obviously building their weaponry up as well. Rules of engagement have been liberalized. Ex-Pentagon analyst to RT on U.S. killings in Afghanistan. Pritzker, you gotta love this. Pritzker under federal investigation for property tax scheme. This is the new Illinois governor. And what did it say? I think the article says 4 out of the last 10 governors have been sent to prison. So this is probably going to be number 5. It looks like it, because, now get this, right? He wants you to pay taxes. You better damn well pay taxes, right? But he had a contractor come in and disconnect, and this is what he's being investigated for. He had a contractor come in and disconnect the toilets in his home, right? So he could mark it as, what's the terminology? Uninhabitable, okay? And so that way his taxes would, like, go way down. He, like, saved, like, $331,000 in taxes, right? So, yeah, I have a feeling he's going to be spending the night at a hotel for maybe a few years, but probably not the Holiday Inn. Star Wars are back. U.S. might preemptively strike Russia and China with space weapons, says the Russian Ministry of Defense. Ungrateful. Fox host Tucker Carlson claims Ilhan Omar is attacking country that took her in. Just looking over, and morning's correct. Most of the issues that have come have been from adulterated kratom, where other things were added in. So that I have no concern about with the company that I get it from, because we've been taking it, and I guarantee you it doesn't have anything in it like fentanyl or any type of amphetamines or anything like that. So believe me, I would know. I've not been an angel all my life, so I know how certain things feel. So I couldn't tell you how heroin feels, but I can tell you how, like hydrocodone, how that feels. And this definitely doesn't have anything in the opiate family in it, because I would know. And it definitely don't have anything like an amphetamine or any type of a unnatural stimulant. So I think it's just pure kratom. So, and the guys are that I've talked to on Facebook, I mean, me and him's had back and forth conversations like you wouldn't believe. Hell, yesterday we were talking about prepping, you know. So, I mean, these aren't the type of guys that just you know, they want your money and then they don't want to talk or any. Nah, these guys are cool. So I have a feeling that they're going to do very, very well. I think they really run a good tight ship. So, let's see. We lied, we cheated, we stole. Pompeo offers honest, if disturbing, admission about CIA activity. This is kind of part of what I'm talking about, folks. And we've got a choice. You know, we can either just, you know, go along to get along, or we can fix this, right? We're not going to fix it by voting. It's not going to be fixed like that. Okay, I'm not saying that we got to take up arms. I think there's other routes that this can be handled without doing that. At least I hope. You know, but we cannot let this go on. This is supposed to be, you know, this is supposed to be an intelligence agency that is supposed to follow the Constitution and do the right thing for the safety and security of the nation, not themselves. And they're certainly not supposed to be buying hookers and blow in South America either. But, you know, your tax dollars paid for that. Parents charged with murder of 5-year-old Illinois boy. This is just a very, very sad story, apparently, and I'm assuming it was today that they did find his body. I don't know if I read the headline the other day when he came up missing or not, or what day for sure that was. I honestly don't remember, but apparently today they had found the boy's body and have charged the parents with murder. So, a very, very sad story. Apparently they've had, not that I'm a supporter of Child Protective Services, but apparently they've been in contact with this family quite a bit and have removed other children. In fact, they just had removed a child from the home and placed it somewhere else just like within like the past couple of weeks, I want to say. And I think they were getting ready to remove this boy here when, his dad called in and said that he was missing. Very, very sad. Very sad. Anyway, okay, let me hop off of here, and we'll get on with the rest of the show. Remember, we'll be joining up with Prepper Nurse 1 at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. For those here for the live show, stick around. We'll be live for a total until 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. For those that watch the monologue or the recording thereof, thank you very much. As always, God bless you. We love you, and be one with your spirit.